Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. And I mean, it's Thursday, and I've already said this so many times. Tuesday and Thursday means another book talk episode. And this one is a little bit creepy because you get introduced to two of the villains, two of the antagonists in the book. I tried going for some dimmer lighting just to kind of give a weird sense. I was trying to set atmosphere. Welcome to episode 7 of Book Talk. And as usual, the links will be in the description below to purchase the book for either paperback or ebook. Just as the links to my Instagram, the Facebook page for my books, and my Snapchat and Twitter will be in the description below. And I'm doing a low voice too for this episode. So, today's chapter is called A Shade of Destruction. We ended off in episode 6, an increase in numbers. It ended off on a special news report, and then an attack was coming. Well, this chapter begins before this attack happens. A news conference is called by the U.S. Secretary of Defense to address the sightings of superhumans around the world. Because, it's not just limited to what's happening in Canada. Things are happening all over the world, but they're mainly talking about the stuff that's been on the news, and that's mainly been about Kane and, some of his teammates. Yes, indeed. Any comic book or graphic novel or superhero movie or stuff like this, there's always an excuse. Oh, it's a flying mechanism. It's just an experimentation gone wrong. Oh, it's just weapons. Why? I'm just going to say the overall summary for this chapter is crap hits the fan. Like, oh my gosh, it's two of the creepiest characters that get introduced. So what I want you to do is comment what you think are some comic book creepy villains, movie creepy villains, because I'm pretty sure these two characters I introduced in this chapter kind of top that. As the conference is going on, reporters are asking questions, talking about the sightings, and then the two figures stand up. Well, one stands up first, and they just talk, addressing the fact that no, superhumans aren't fake, they're not false. And a second one stands up, and they're pretty much, their appearance is, holy crap, they're intimidating and pretty much terrifying. Like, eyes are different colors. That's one thing I did put in this book, with it being in the future, is that there's different eye colors, like bright pink, red, orange, yellow, purple. Comment down below if you'd like to have one of those kind of eye colors. They stand up, the two figures. They start kind of mocking the Secretary of Defense. And you can kind of get this feeling around the room that people are unsettled by the two. Then they introduce themselves as Chaos and Krilson. You should be able to tell by the first name that, like, Chaos. What does that mean? That's subtle, isn't it? But Krilson, like, don't even ask me where I came up with that name, I just thought of it. I'll put how to spell it at the bottom, don't worry. They introduce themselves as superhumans. Because the Secretary of Defense said that if people like this did exist, we'd bring them to justice. And they both start laughing. And crap hits the fan. Hard. Like, hard. Well, what do you mean? I'm gonna give you a bit of spoilers on their powers. Krilson is a shapeshifter. Can shapeshift into anyone or anything. And I don't mean like inanimate objects, I mean like any mystical, mythological, any kind of creature he wants. He chooses some weird ones sometimes. Chaos, it can be both by touch and sight, but he can infuse things with enough energy that it explodes. Inanimate objects or living objects. You see where I'm going with this? So exactly that. They say, bring us to justice, and they slaughter everyone in the room on live television. So moving on from that, we go back to the base, to where all the heroes, like all the teens and the parents, are just watching this on television. I don't know about you, but if you were to watch something like that on live television of people getting torn apart by a mythological creature and people, like, I don't think anyone's brains could fully comprehend that. But there's a debate that ends up ensuing where some of the parents are looking at the kids because Cain is inspecting where the conference is being held. To which Brady's then just like, don't even think about it. And an argument starts. But then finally, Cain and Raphael convince them, it's like, you know what, we need to go and do something. We need to showcase to that world that there's not just bad superhumans, but that there's good ones. And so they go. Well, they teleport to where the conference was. And it's a pretty disgusting scene. Like, I don't want to describe it too much, but let's just go with just utter death. Just utter death. But no, they leave that building. They get outside, and the scene's not much better. Smoke is in the air. Like, I pretty much described it as like the sky is a different color just to reflect what happened at this location. Like, cars are burning, flipped over, destroyed, buildings are crumbling, bodies are just laying everywhere. It is just a massacre. It is just utter destruction. Hence the chapter name. So as they're continuing down the streets and they're looking, they find Croson, who is about to kill someone. And of course, Raphael springs into action and they fight. And then afterwards, Cain jumps in. And after a while, Croson's kind of getting the beat down just because of how powerful Cain is. And he flees. And they chase after him. And Croson ends up leading the two to Chaos. And a talk happens between Chaos and Croson. And then, you know, that Cain and Raphael, they confront them, and another fight comes. And eventually, they get the upper hand on the two. And again, crap hits the fan, because then Chaos and Croson, because they actually get the upper hand now, because of a certain power they possess. And it is a very dark one. And this is actually a pretty key power. It's a key thing that then transfers over into book 2, that you find out the origins of it and all this stuff. But before Chaos and Croson can then continue fighting against Cain and Raphael, the rest of the team shows up. And at that point, Chaos and Croson, they decide, you know what, it's not over, but we're going to leave for right now. Then the team returns, some discussion is had, and the parents decide, you know what, it's time that we leave the base and give you the full control. Of course, as we remember from episode 6, some things are hidden. Like the fact, why can't the world remember? And at this point, as Cain is watching the parents getting up to the teleporter, he's like, you know what, wait, why can't the world remember? He finally confronts him going, why can't the world remember us? If they remembered us, maybe something like this wouldn't have happened. They tried hiding that conversation, but the rest of the kids are like, no, we deserve to know too. And so finally, they reveal what happened. And again, it's going to be one of those things I'm not going to tell you, because if you want to know, you're going to have to buy it. But no, after they reveal it, more discussion is had, there's an understanding, and the parents finally leave. And that kind of signifies them fully giving control, handing over the reins to the kids, and going, you know what, we trust you, we leave the world, we leave everything in your hands. And then that is where chapter 7, A Shade of Destruction, ends. And so, to all of you watching, I hope you enjoyed today's video, I hope you enjoyed today's episode, and I hope you enjoyed me being vague again. And as always, don't forget to give this video a like, don't forget to subscribe to stay tuned for more episodes like this and the rest of my content in general. And also leave a comment down below about some of the creepiest villain characters from comic books, graphic novels, or whatever you can think of. Comment some of those names down below and why they are so creepy. And again, the links to purchase the book for paperback and ebook I will put down below to Amazon. And I will also put the links to all my social media down below as well. But as always, thank you all for watching and have an awesome day.